Everything's posted. Give it a few minutes. We can chit chat before we get into the main event here.
Yes, sir. Here, check this.
Huh?
I'm about to put something on the Discord. Check this out.
Oh, okay. You can put it on the Discord. That's fine.
Yeah, let's wrap on that for a second because it's dumb, but it made me giggle. There we go. Put it up.
Based Loki and his variants, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Faiz Skywalker, Tachibana-san, the sexiest Oni-chan that can play drums, the Gary Stu is Kabuto, the Satan becoming a writer literally. Okay. Edward from Twilight Saga, but an introvert.
Isn't it close though?
The guy who gets bullied because he wears pink. Common yaoi rider, no cap.
No cap, bro.
No cap. The guy who sleeps fully naked in bed. Oh man, am I O's? God damn it. Josuke Higashikata that will befriend you. You're a wizard, Haruto.
You're a wizard, Haruto.
Our Lord and Savior, Fruit Jesus. Common driver, your guardian angel. Oh my god. I just red jumpsuit apparatus just shot into my brain. The only winner here. I'll share it in a second, Peacemaker. It's pretty cool. It's Pepsi loves an Action Labs. Subscribe. All right. Pepsi Man. Pepsi Man. Let's see.
Yep.
Oh goodness. Let me share this page. You're roboting out, but this is the picture that we were.
Driver.
You are just all robot right now, Rob. So this is the picture I was reading off of. It is a list of the Heisei era and all their super basic descriptions of what's going on. Oh no, did we lose Rob? Rob froze. Oh no. Okay, he'll be back in a second. But yeah, this oh man. Based Loki and his variants, Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, Faiz Skywalker, Tachibana-san. That's a good one, Tachibana-san. You're a wizard, Haruto. Oh man. Wild. Rob went to the Shadow Realm. Right? It's very accurate. I love it. I love it. Oh man. Give it a few minutes for Rob to come back. How's everyone doing this fine Saturday? Is it Saturday? We usually do this on Sunday, so I'm a little confused on what's going on. But we got a lot of stuff planned. This weekend it's going to be busy. We'll be doing some Tokudon here. And then we are going to jump into Gigabash, which is an alpha that's going on this weekend. Hopefully our boy... Yeah, they did. They really did. So many people really did.
Am I back?
Yes, I hear you. You're back.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Hopefully you'll stay out of the Shadow Realm. You got to use
Merrick
that
says
Swords
hi.
Revealing Light. But yeah, this weekend we're gonna do some Tokudon here in a few minutes, and then we're gonna jump into Gigabash, which is the ready. Have you heard anything about this, Rob? Do you know what Gigabash is? Did you Shadow Realm again? You Shadow Realmed again. You fool! So Gigabash is essentially Kaiju Power Stone.
No. Tell me, what is Gigabash?
You're back from the Shadow Realm. Conversation about beards and beard-based accessories. Gigabash is essentially Power Stone with Kaiju, is the easiest way to describe it. So,
Power Stone with Kaiju.
Yeah, like it's essentially you just take up to 4 kaiju, run around. They all have special moves, all kinds of themed ones. Like there's a Megazord type one. There's a giant ogre looking thing. There's a Ultraman. I forget what the race is in Ultraman. The aliens. One of the aliens. It's called Pee Palace in the in the game.
I'm sorry. No, clarify what?
Yeah. So this is a whole thing. We're gonna get into it after Tokudon.
Okay.
This game is great. Like, and hopefully we're gonna get to Hawkilles on here, hang out. What's up, G-Bakes? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Hawkilles. He'll hopefully hop in here with some matches. Yeah, Rob is still frozen.
I am?
Yeah, your video is frozen. We can hear you.
My video is frozen.
Yeah.
I can cope with the video. I can cope if you can't see me. That's fine. Am I frozen in an awesome position? Does it make me look bad?
You kind of look like you're like derping out a little bit, but whatever. We can hear you. That's the important part right now.
We'll go with that. We're okay with that. Let's start there.
We'll deal with the rest of it. But yeah, it's he looks like a disappointed dad. That's how your face was just described.
I'm channeling my old man.
Oh man,
I'm imagining his expression right now. Power Rangers.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Oh. And now your video's just gone. Whatever, we'll get it back. It'll be there eventually.
Yeah, we'll come back.
So maybe I'll move the window over here, see if it works a little better. Yeah, and it's really cool because you can pick up power forms and get like a Giga mode, and they all transform and get bigger and get meaner.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll catch you later, bud. Yeah, there's ultimate attacks too. Everyone gets a crazy, ridiculous ultimate attack.
Nice.
Have a good stream, bud.
See you, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll get into it. I'm curious.
Yeah. So we can hang around for that. Yeah, obviously you're more than welcome to hang around, but hopefully we'll get some matches with Hawkilles. And just kind of
like that guy.
Talk kaiju. Yeah, he's great. He's a great dude. And
we're talking Big G, aren't we?
Yeah, we're talking some Big G, but we have other things planned for this weekend as well.
Dude.
So if anyone has ever listened to the opening music that we usually play before the stream, any of the streams, if you hang out for any of them, not necessarily just the Toku ones, it is by a cover artist by the name of Trey Watson. Trey is going to be hanging out playing some Guilty Gear with us tomorrow.
Thanks, Trey.
Yeah, Trey, I'm excited if you're watching. I'm very excited. I literally listen to Trey like on the ride home from work almost every day.
I wonder who he means. Who's he mean?
I don't know who Trey means. We'll see. So could get scary. I don't know. They might have some pocket like Millia nonsense where they're just jumping around all over the place. But you know, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be hanging out, just kind of talking video game music and what they've been up to and all this kind of stuff. They just dropped a cover for the Berserk anime. It just dropped yesterday. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited to have Trey on there. And then we're also going to be doing some, we have another episode of Technically Toku tomorrow as well. And then apparently we're jumping into Dark Souls as well. So I'm going to be streaming like 48 hours straight at this point. But
Dark Souls. Good luck, man.
Yeah.
Really good luck.
We're taking Ken through Dark Souls 2. It's super fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you already super buffed in like New Game 34?
No, that's Steve, but I did want to play a little bit and like, pave the way so we could take him through it easier and not have to, do it 3 times on stream. And I may have leveled a little too high because in Dark Souls 2, you have to like, it's based on your soul level, which is how many total souls you've had. Yeah.
It's been so long since I played 2. Holy crap.
So, yeah, that one's a little different because even if you use the new like ring system they added in Scholar of the First Sin, it's still based on like how many total souls you've had. So I collected a little too many for them to be able to summon me. But yeah, so today is Kaiju Day, and I am so goddamn excited.
Kaiju Day. Big G is here.
Big G. So we're going to be talking about Godzilla Singular Point on this new episode.
Yes.
We're keeping Tokudon in-house this time. I love every person we have on here, but we're keeping it in-house this time because we haven't done one with just us in a while. So
it's been a bit. I miss you, man.
Been a minute since we just yelled at each other. So
it's good because I think honestly we may have opposing opinions on this singular point. Now,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. So
I love Big G. I do, but this was rough. This was rough for me.
okay. Well, let's give some people some context before we get super into breaking it down. This is an anime on Netflix. Let me pull up my little Wikipedia cheat sheet here.
Ah, yes.
I pulled up some information for it. This is an anime on Netflix that is, I don't know who made it actually. Let me see. Yeah.
Well, distributed by Toho.
Yeah, I mean,
Orange
that's a given.
and Orange and
I don't know who the studio is that actually animated it though.
I'm reading Orange and another one. Bones.
Excuse me. Bones? Oh, dang,
Bones?
it's Bones. Studio Bones. All right,
Yeah.
that's why it looks amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
It's pretty.
Studio Bones, they've done a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Let me get the full list here because I'm sure I'm going to mess it up. But Razafon, Wolf's Rain, if anyone's seen Wolf's Rain, the original Full Metal Alchemist, I think they did Brotherhood as well. Yep, they did do Brotherhood.
Did.
Eureka 7,
Nice.
Darker Than Black. They did the Skullman anime. There you go. Space Dandy, if anyone's ever seen that. I believe they did Soul Eater as well. Let me just make sure. Yep, they did do Soul Eater.
Wow,
Blood,
that's vastly different.
a little more recent stuff. Blood Blockade Battlefront. I haven't actually watched that one, but they're also the biggest one, My Hero Academia. So
Nope. That's why it's
That's
like
the one.
so. I mean, the Sakugo is
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
there's some good shots in this one.
It is very pretty, and
It
I'm never gonna take that. Very pretty, very, very
It
pretty.
is. And so this is, if anyone has seen any of the other Godzilla animes, this is kind of in the same, I don't know, genre of Godzilla where it's kind of metaphorical and trippy and weird. Essentially,
Yeah.
Godzilla is not the kaiju you would think he is. He's not like a atomic radiation thing. He's not anything. He's a monster from a different dimension.
They treat him kind of like a metaphor and manifested. Like he's
Absolutely.
he's like the result of the worst possible scenario. Like
Yeah, he's literally the metaphor for the catastrophe and the symbolism for the catastrophe that they're trying to prevent throughout the whole show.
let's back up.
Yeah.
All right. So the it's obviously set in our world. There's still vast difference.
The year is 2030. And
This is the future. They do deal a lot with time, and once you again, my issue with time is that once you put it in there, you got to make it make sense. And holy crap, did they make it make sense to them? Like for the movie, the science works,
yeah.
but you really have to graduate with a master's in anime bullshit science because wow.
Yeah.
I think okay. So did you like it?
I didn't hate it. I will preface this. So if you guys have ever heard us talk about Godzilla before, which I talk about Godzilla a lot, but I am not a fan of the anime trilogy of movies that came out. I think they are garbo. If you watch the Godzilla tier list I did the one time, they are bottom tier of the Godzilla movies. But again, Godzilla, I love you. I hold you precious. I will deal with you.
Of course.
Even the gross, ugly, smelly child, I will deal with you.
We speak out of love.
Yes.
That's the whole point here.
I definitely like this way more than those because I feel like those tried to do something similar but failed at it miserably.
Right.
Like when it comes to this whole like metaphorical pseudo science ideology thing.
Oh boy!
I think they tried. That series failed. This series is a little more successful. It doesn't make any sense, but it's more successful than that was.
So let's talk about what happens in this world because I guess maybe if we work through it, we'll probably change. Because I didn't like it. I didn't like it more than I thought I wasn't going to already. You know what I mean? Once the science stuff started, I was like, okay, I know what I'm in for now.
Yeah.
Can I accept it for what it is and still kind of enjoy this?
So
and I didn't as much as I wanted to.
Yeah. So like we are introduced to the people's hero right out the gate, Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar is the focal point of this entire series. And I think that is goddamn amazing because Jet Jaguar
he is
so cool.
so undervalued. Like this did him justice, but then this should have been called the Jet Jaguar movie. Like
It should have been called Jet Jaguar: Godzilla singular point.
Exactly. Yeah, it would have been fine like that. Again,
Yeah.
I get it. It's all marketing. It's all money. But
Yeah.
honestly, if you taking back every expectation I had and then reevaluating it from that perspective, it's a good movie for Jet Jaguar. A great movie for Jet Jaguar.
Yeah.
Probably the best you'll get.
So the premise to the show, I'm just going to read the little like paragraph blurb that they have on here.
Yeah.
I think it's going to sum it up the easiest way because there's a lot of things to like unpack in this.
So much.
So we are in Nagashio City in the Chiba Prefecture in the year 2030. Engineer Yun Arakawa of the local do-it-all shop Otoki Factory, who are the ones who built Jet Jaguar, investigates the happenings in a Western-style house long thought abandoned. Mei Kamino, a graduate student studying imaginary creatures, investigates mysterious signals received from Masakyoku, the former Tsugonu District's administrative building. These two strangers visit in completely different places as part of a completely different investigation. Both hear the same song. As they become united, they are led into a battle beyond imagination involving the whole world. Godzilla Singular Point features a brand new staff and original story which depicts the young geniuses as they take on an unprecedented threat in the universe with their companions. That is the most simplest, terrible explanation I have ever heard for this. But it kind of also sums it up, and I think that's kind of the problem with this show. It's like, that sums it up, but that's not quite it.
But is it more than that? Only in the context of the science. Subtract the science.
Yeah,
that's
it.
The
biggest, broadest terms, that's it.
That's it. And that's what it should have been.
There's so many things to this that, like, you can't describe it other than that without going into, like, a deep, dark hole. Like,
no.
So they get this song, right? It's described as an Indian folk song. And
they pick up this radio signal. That is this song.
And that's the Western style house that they go to investigate, this Otoki Factory, a group of dudes.
Right.
Yun and Haburo, I believe, are the two that go. Haburo is the big jack dude.
Habanero? Yeah,
Habanero. Awesome. Habanero salsa. He's the one. Habanero and Yun. So they go and investigate the signal.
Habanero and Gintama, because don't. He's Gintama.
He definitely is Gintama.
Like, I was half waiting for the howdy to come out at some point. I'm like, yo, what?
So Habanero and Gintama go to this house, and they find this weird signal coming from this radio. And they find like a code embedded in it. So Yun's like a genius. This dude's a genius. There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, these are the smartest characters in the world, by the way. These are like the brain geniuses.
These are the ones who are like, if you had a room full of like every mad scientist we have right now, that's them. But they're not.
They're
crazy.
Doom and Reed Richards. That's who they are. They're Doom and Reed. That's how top par they
Except
are.
Like
and
not
yet
evil and
one
like
is like
disgustingly good. They're just kind of like weird nerdy people. Like they're just introverts. That's all they really are. It's kind of funny,
right?
So
like
they
they're heroes.
This... Good.
No, I was just saying they're heroes by what they do. They're not like heroic.
Yeah, they're not heroic at all. Like it was kind of jarring almost to not see them like. You know, like Yun doesn't really like. He has a couple moments where he kind of like steps up, but it's like half a step up. It's not like All Might. You know, speaking of My Hero, All Might pumping out his chest. You know, Detroit smashing things. Like
he's not doing stuff like here, like surviving explosions that are definitely killing people. Like they definitely survived the most wackadoo shit.
Yeah,
especially at the end. But like. Before you get to that point, every episode obviously increases the ridiculousness exponentially, because you have to believe this. It's almost like magic and science, because the science that they try to explain, obviously they base it on real world physics, but they also
do they?
Let me say they try to, because that's the way they explain it. You know what I mean? They really try hard to explain it in common tongue so that you can get it. Now, Will Smith put it perfectly, and I'll swear by this forever. He says, "You're the dumbest smart person I know," and I am one of those. I am the dumbest smart person in the world, one of them. But I try to follow this. And even when they use food, you know what I mean? They even use food to try to explain the science. And I'm like, that's still not enough, guys. Still not enough.
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, so
It's-
you have to buy into this science in order for the rest of the kaijus, because the kaijus, they're not created. Well, they're kind of created from this red dust that starts to accumulate everywhere.
Yeah.
Kind of like the mist.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's actually a really good like parallel to it, the mist, because the whole point of the mist was like this other dimension bleeding into our world, and that's kind of what's happening here. Like it's a separate dimension, or like a culmination of separate dimensions, because they kind of play into this multiverse thing. Everyone's all about these multiverses. They play into this multiverse thing, and it's kind of like the red dust and this material that they found, the archetype, is what's creating these creatures, whether it's, you know, on purpose or not. It never really truly figured out, but, you know, it's kind of like this repeated history, alternate timelines, keep going sort of thing, and then these kaiju are bleeding into our world from this red dust, which is also a byproduct of this dimensional
when they start to stack and spiral, they all try to get to the source and dominate each other, and that's the way they were trying to explain it. It's like Kang the Conqueror met Godzilla, and that's all happening, and it's like
Kang literally like kicked in that dimension's door, like, you
will follow my idea, okay? Like, and it's okay, because again, they try to make it make sense, and if you buy into it, it works. Just buy into it, because other than if you try to figure it out, it doesn't work. Because what? All right. If I understand the end, did you follow the climax with the sciencey part?
So,
because it from what it seems is they had the answer the whole time. It was inside Jet Jaguar PP.
Okay, hang on, because that's not going to make any sense to anyone. So
that's exactly the point, though.
Okay, so let's preface this. So obviously, I think this goes without saying at this point, but we're going to be talking a lot of spoilers.
Oh yeah, big spoiler warning, guys.
But so essentially, what is happening is they create this universe's version of the oxygen bomb. It literally looks like the oxygen bomb.
Yeah, which was called the orthogonal
diagonalizer, which is the most anime science name I've ever heard in my life. Orthogonal diagonalizer. And for it, so what this thing does is whenever they fire it off into this red dust, it explodes and it creates these like crystalline structures that kind of just shoot out in all directions. This is how they're supposed to stop the red dust. Yeah, it looked really cool. And it's how it's supposed to stop the red dust. So the final one, when Godzilla is finally doing its thing, they're trying to figure out a code to activate it properly, to properly counter the red dust permanently. Like, it's a very unstable reaction, so it doesn't permanently fix the red dust. It kind of just crumbles away after a little bit. And we find out that these AIs, so Gintama has been creating AIs. He gives one to the girl May, and then also uses one himself that he eventually puts into Jet Jaguar. This thing has been apparently, so I'm trying to explain this, and I'm like, oh, there's another layer to this. Oh, there's another layer to it.
How about the AI voice for Jet Jaguar the entire freaking movie?
Yeah, so essentially, since we're dealing with this multiverse thing, we're dealing with this multi-dimensional timeline kind of thing. The future is the past is the future, cyclical timeline stuff. Basically, it comes down to, if anyone's ever seen Doctor Who, think that kind of logic. That's what we're working with here. Time is cyclical. There's all kinds of multiple versions of it. If you've ever seen like the Doctor Who crossovers with like David Tennant and Matt Smith, there's a scene where he takes an algorithm, David Tennant, puts it in his screwdriver, and then Matt Smith automatically has it because he's 500 years in the future, technically. So this is the kind of stuff we're working with here. The AIs eventually find a computer in one of these singular points that lets them see all of time and all of these branches and everything. So when it's inside of there, it uses this time reciprocation where it can duplicate time and keep doing all these things, to where it ran this program so many times it found the perfect code that was needed. And this imported itself into Jet Jaguar. It just had like a memory wipe. Yeah. And that's pretty much how it's solved.
and it went back to like primitive intelligence, and then caught up in like a minute and a half for reasons.
Because
So,
the whole thing is, I don't
oh
know if
yeah,
you
yeah, no,
remember
I
the
get it.
experiment. I mean, I'm not saying this makes sense. This is how they explain it. They have this cube, right? It's kind of like, not really a cube. It's more like a trapezoid, 3D trapezoid kind of thing. Hexagonal, whatchamahoo's it? Not a hexagon, but it's a rhombus. And they put a beam of light in that kind of swirls around and gets brighter and brighter until it pops. This structure pops.
Oh yeah, that's called archetype. That was the synthetic material they created.
The structure was called the archetype. It's the base. There's a bunch of different forms of it. Kind of like, think of it like water in vapor, smoke, vapor, ice, liquid, that kind of thing.
So, yeah, that experiment was actually pretty cool because
and I think it really helped get the point that they were trying to go for, even though it didn't really, again, make sense. But that showed that within this archetype and within this singular point, the way time works, they can speed it up and use multiple tracks of it at once if they needed to. And I think that's kind of what was happening with the AI to work out this algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's and that's the point. It's like you have to believe into the science to really get to the movie, to bring that movie back in, because otherwise, if you're lost with the science, give up, because for some reason they made this 13 episodes of science.
Yeah.
Like,
how did you feel about the pacing overall, since we're talking about that?
I didn't want to really start to get into my negatives, because I want to really get into what I liked about the movie.
Well, let's get the negative out of the way and we'll end on a high note.
So, all right, pacing was brutal, especially when they couldn't decide how they wanted to tell their own story. Like, it wasn't so much that they were out of order, because you could follow it, but when it comes to the key moments in the story, they introduce characters constantly with partial storylines, and then those are so thinly threaded that by the time you get to the ending, all of those connections were just drawn out because of the science. You know what I mean? Like, the story itself meant nothing. Like, it didn't affect anything.
It was literally almost like the science had its own character and everyone else was supplemental to that. You know what I mean?
Right. So here's what I'll get into. So my biggest problem with this story, with this whole thing, is the writer. When I was doing the research, I learned that the writer of this
Enjo is the writer.
Yeah, he's not a movie writer. He's a science mathematician, something like that, if I'm right. Whatever he is, he's not solely a movie writer, script writer. So what they did was take an idea for a science fiction movie, a great one, that could have been any monster at all. Anyone. And they shoehorned Godzilla in there so hard and so badly that every moment that they have science in there, especially when they literally show a minute and a half of dialogue through a phone.
Yeah.
They show this screen, you're seeing the phone screen with the dialogue that they're speaking, communicating about the science. You could have traded every single one of those moments for a kaiju fight, and it wouldn't, and had the fucking dialogue over that. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to know how they read those texts so fast. Like, that was, I don't know, like, they got like 9 texts in half a second. Like, how did you read them that fast?
They're predictive texting each other. So
I guess. I don't know. It was crazy.
But ultimately, my point is, like, this is a great science fiction movie that Godzilla got shoehorned into. And the one quote from the writer that infuriates me the most, I ranted on it on my phone. I was going to send it to you, but I saved it for this. The writer literally said that the studio wanted them to put Godzilla and the kaiju in it more, but they didn't want to, because he thought that the people who came to see a show called Godzilla would get bored of seeing Godzilla for 6 episodes, or maybe 3 episodes consecutively. Literally from the writer of this thing. And that right there solidified my stance on this. This is no longer my biased opinion. This is the truth. The writer did not want Godzilla in the movie. Come on.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Yeah, Peacemaker, it's literally Technobabble the series. That is the perfect log line to give this show. Technobabble the series.
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
I'm telling you, bro. I wanted to send it to you, but I needed to drop it on live and see what your reaction was.
Yeah. I mean, so here's my thing with Godzilla, right? The entire point is this series started as a propaganda film. It's literally a propaganda film. And some of my favorite iterations of Godzilla were used in ways that Godzilla represented something. Like, yes, it's a giant lizard stomping through the city, but it represented something, or the movie itself tried to achieve something. I feel like I want to assume positive intent, and that's what they meant, where like people are enjoying, they come to Godzilla for these messages, these metaphors, these evaluations on society and what's going on, that kind of thing. I'm going to assume that's what they meant. And again, I'm going to positive intent. But yeah, that sounds bad when it's like, yes, no, people come to Godzilla to watch big monsters slap each other. And I get it. I really do. Like I said, like Shin Godzilla is one of my favorite Godzilla movies ever. The entire point of that was to dissect how the Japanese government handles natural disasters. At that time, you were looking at things like, the Fukushima plants, the earthquakes, the tidal waves, all that kind of stuff. This, I feel like, doesn't have as relevant of an anchor into like current events that I know of anyway. I mean, we got like the Hadron Collider, but I don't know what that has to do with timey-wimey nonsense. Yeah, I would like to think they didn't think like, oh, I'm going to make a Godzilla film. No one wants to watch a Godzilla series. You know what I mean? That sounds a little crazy to me. So I don't know. Are you in the Shadow Realm again? Oh, he went to the Shadow Realm. Okay. But yeah, that's how I'm going to look at it. Positive intent. Maybe the quote was just taken incorrectly. So I think you went to the Shadow Realm for that entire rant.
Hold on. I was banished to the Shadow Realm. I missed your whole spiel.
Okay. Long story short, recap my 5-minute rant there. I'm going to assume positive intent because they just wanted to create, in a way that Godzilla's been used before, like a commentary on society, current events, whatever. That's what I'm going to assume that quote is, not screw Godzilla, fuck you guys.
Okay.
Because like I was saying, some of the best Godzilla films, some of my favorite ones, like the whole series started as a propaganda film, and then from there it's been used multiple times as commentaries, things like that. Shin Godzilla was, the commentary on how the Japanese government handles natural disasters and stuff like that. So I'm going to assume that's what they meant. They, this series is for the people that came for that kind of thing. And in that case, yes, I absolutely get that. And it's also cool to have that variety in the series when we have so many pieces of Godzilla going on. Because Godzilla's big again, right? Like, we had, ever since the legendary Monsterverse has come out, Godzilla's back in the spotlight, I feel like. I mean, it kind of started with Shin Godzilla, but like 2014 really kind of kickstarted that after Final Wars.
I agree.
So having this variety of like the socio-commentary kind of Godzilla, and then we also have the monkey and lizard slapping each other with big things. I like that, having that option. Like, that's the whole point of Godzilla. That's what makes this franchise so fantastic. It can fit into both the WrestleMania and also the documentary. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so great about Godzilla. That's not a great quote. That's not exactly what Godzilla fans want to hear from the person creating a series that, like, again, I think the animes have left kind of a bad taste in people's mouth. So
yeah,
overall,
I mean, legit, bro. When I heard it, the documenter was even trying to make it sound positive. Like, it's just, I can't. So yeah, anything else I can just, again, let's focus on the positives, because the negatives are just too much science, not enough big G. Boiled down. For it to be promoted as it was.
So here's the thing. I didn't see a lot about this show, and I could have been just like ignorantly unaware, like it subconsciously, not ignorant. That's not the word I'm looking for. Subconsciously, like avoiding things because I like
Yeah, I mean,
more
true.
than most series. I like going into Godzilla with as little knowledge as possible. Because I feel like there's a big thing. You know, we were talking about trailers kind of spoiling things when we had Gem on. I feel like Godzilla is like the king of that. King of the monsters, king of the spoils. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew about Mechagodzilla from the trailer. We knew about it, you know, from the toys before that. But like, we knew about Mechagodzilla from the trailer alone. That was supposed to be a big reveal. So, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't even remember a lot of marketing for this show, honestly. But
I mean,
my thing is like,
trailers. Yeah.
I'm okay with smaller kaiju. I am okay with it. But
okay.
To me, that's not a kaiju. That's a kaijin. You know what I mean? Like, I also like. There's certain ones like the swarm of Rodans coming around was cool. I thought that was really cool.
Right.
But when you have a mini boss like Anguirus, I was like, it's it's not like, it doesn't hit as hard. Like, yes, he was pretty big. Anguirus is pretty big. But like, Godzilla is multiple times larger. Like multiple digits times larger. So, and I get he's supposed to be the metaphor for this catastrophe, this end world thing, but my one thing is I wish they were a little bit more like, again, there's some monsters I think tailored to that, like the Kamunga, the spiders. I think they worked really well. How cool, speaking of positive, how cool was it that Hedorah was living inside of these spiders?
Yeah, so again, the Easter eggs are one of the best parts of this whole thing. The Easter eggs that are littered everywhere, bro. That's so dope that you can go and pick out the Easter eggs. Hedorah, who's the other one? Oh my god,
Mothra.
there were so many. Mothra was teased like what 45 times. Like,
there's just like a moth flying around, and you're like, that's Mothra, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, no, legit. The given that they were smaller, I think I don't know, it helped. It helped so that the people didn't seem so insignificant. Because if it were that, then it would be even worse.
Yeah, they did. Like, they can get definitely, like, people can definitely get lost with that when they're like the giant monsters. So yeah, it did help.
But I think that's the only reason, because otherwise it just did. Why? Plot wise, forget the plot. The design for the, I was trying to figure out what that one beast was that was chasing them in the archetype place. The one that was destroying.
That was a completely new monster for this.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Salunga. Salunga is a completely new design for the show. You're talking about the one that was like controlling the smoke, right?
Like a blue thing, right?
Yeah, it was like a blue thing with one horn tearing the place open. Yeah. They were trying to like keep it down the whole time.
That thing.
Yeah, it's a completely new monster for this series.
It definitely established itself when it got pierced by those things, and it just kept growling.
Like, and it just kind of like Dante's off them.
Like, when I get out of here.
Yeah, and like, I was thinking about it too. Like, it reminded me a lot of the what's the Titan's name? It starts with a Y, I think. The little one that would always, when they're on the tower and the Beast Titan first shows up, there's the little Titan that is with them and kind of like fighting off the Titans.
The Jaw Titan.
Right? Yeah, it's like the first Jaw Titan before it switches over to the other guy.
Ymir, yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of got vibes of that, and I thought it was really cool. And I think if they keep this monster around, it would be cool to keep them smaller, maybe bigger compared to everyone else, but like compared to this version, but like smaller compared to everyone, and just have them be like Nergigante and just be a monster that like ravages the other monsters and just be an annoying gnat the whole time. Because that's kind of the vibe I got. Was like, this thing is a problem. And if it gets to the other stuff, it's going to be a big problem.
And I like that it had a singular focus. Like it obviously,
like I'm getting to you. I don't know what you are, but I'm getting to you.
It was done well for them, but it's something that even then they didn't really engage, and that's kind of a dope thing. Like, they didn't come up with like a Home Alone trap for it. They just had one resolve, and they were like, well, if this doesn't work, then we're screwed.
Yeah.
Like, I like that. But it was that one. Another one of the not Was it Baron? Bargon? Baron?
Baragon?
Baragon?
Baragon was on a phone case, apparently. There's a lot of things like that where you'll see they get like cameos and Easter eggs like that, like you were saying. Yeah, Baragon was on a phone case, and then at the end we got a really cool. I don't know if you watched it after the credits, but we got a really cool like Super Bone style version of like the entire Heisei and Millennium era, and that was really sick. It was a really well done art where like it had everyone from like the Heisei and Millennium era.
I like again, the Easter eggs are the best part of this for just what they are. They're awesome. They even have a bunch of the actors like in the end credits, like from the movies. All the each still has like a bunch of things from the movies that are pulled into there. Just dope. Even they reference Zilla in the
Godzuki.
Godzuki, Zilla.
Yeah. I thought that was great. I was confused what the skull was. I'm assuming there's a skull that apparently is producing this track of music that they found, and it's very clearly a Godzilla skeleton of some
It's a whole skeleton.
It's a whole skeleton, but they end up taking just the head, like it's hooked up to the head, and this thing is producing the song apparently. And then at the very end you see them building Kiryu around it, obviously. So I can only assume it was either a previous timeline Godzilla because of all this timey-wiminess, a previous timeline Godzilla, or it was one, or it's like the future version of the dead Godzilla that they defeat. So I'd be curious.
Ooh.
It very much sets up a season 2. Like there's definitely going to be a season 2. So I'm curious where they go with that.
What else are they gonna do unless it just boils down to giant kaiju fight?
I mean, this one is 100% going to be let's defeat Mechagodzilla whenever these other dudes are up to, because clearly they're not cool.
No, yeah, absolutely. And again, it shouldn't have taken 13 episodes for that. This didn't take 13 episodes. It didn't take 13 episodes. Like
I was really confused on my biggest. So Jet Jaguar, like I said, is the focal point of the good guys, quote unquote. Good guys.
The AI. Right?
Yeah, it's the AI, and then the robot. It starts off as a mech, and then they put the AI in it. It starts doing its own thing. Jet Jaguar is fairly small. Jet Jaguar is maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet tall, tops. And then at the end, when it gets this, whatever PP, young AI PP thing, it just grows to the same size as Godzilla. And has a really cool moment where it boots Godzilla in the mouth because it's about to atomic breath. But like, I didn't understand how we just created mass like that. I assumed it sucked in the red dust or something. But like, I didn't understand how it created that much mass.
Because it's the future form of itself. It's invincible because
so it just invoked like Susanoo, the future onto itself.
the red dust generated the future form, and it didn't even do the pose. I wanted it to do the pose and then grow, but it didn't.
I don't know if they can do the pose anymore. Like this was very clearly like a Subaraya thing, and then I think that's why they stopped using Jet Jaguar.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it
was also a fan creation, but that's a whole other thing.
I don't know. I like that it became Zhao Yun.
Yeah.
When it had the spear.
Yeah, so they destroyed, they beat Anguirus, right? And they broke off one of the horns of Anguirus at some point, and they strap it to a pole, and Jet Jaguar starts swinging it around. They call it the spear protocol.
It's the Dynasty Warriors. He became Zhao Yun.
And then like Dr. O or whatever, Mr. O like teaches him how to be like a kabuki artist.
Otaki was a weird character. I couldn't tell if he was blind. I thought he was blind the entire time because his pupils were never drawn.
He's just a weirdo.
I was like, is this dude blind? Because that's badass. Like, I'm just gonna let it go.
He's just a weirdo.
But him and the other old guy when they fought oh my god, what was the beast that came? The first time they fought Anguirus. Remind me, did he have that ability in the movie with the scales?
No, that's something for this. So Anguirus has this ability. You can explain it.
Yeah, he has this like shimmer ability from his scales, and apparently it's that he can see the whatever projectile is coming.
He can see the future essentially, like a couple. He has like precognition. From these
they
scales.
describe it as him having precognition, from the scales. So any bullet that's fired at him, the scales move in the way. Oh, my camera, move in the way to block it. Mm-hmm. So shooting him is pointless. But these two old guys, they're like, well, okay, so we're just gonna hop in Jet Jaguar or this truck. I can't remember. Oh no, it's
It
the
was
truck
both at that point.
and Jet Jaguar. Yeah. So either way, they both managed to rush Angaris, and they know that they're just whatever, a wing and a prayer. They have this bazooka arrowhead like
It's
that they
literally
shove in it.
a pile bunker. That's what it is.
Pile bunker bazooka arrowhead that they shove into like the neck area and explodes, and it's clearly dead. It's clearly dead. Like they draw it dead, yet it resurrects because it regenerates or whatever they did. Like I don't know. A lot of it is about to do with the red dust that changes them, and they get bigger exponentially because of this. That's why Angry starts small, and then they built this cage for it. Then the next time you see it, it's like twice the size it was, and the cage isn't gonna work. That's why they had to fucking kill it. Like, and again, it was fun to see them. The first Rodan they showed had a different design than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because of the red dust, it adapted or whatever the red dust did to them.
They started just like dropping dead, and it was like not used to the environment kind of thing.
That's how
there was that huge one that showed up towards the end, which I was like, "Ooh, this is Rodan."
That's the Rodan.
That's Rodan, and then he got cooked 2 seconds later.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
go ahead.
Go ahead. We're building there. I know where we're going.
I was gonna go off into G-Man himself, but that'll be a whole thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I think in terms of the rest of the kaiju they showed, the serpents weren't utilized well. I forget which one that is. Yeah, Mandos weren't utilized well. Even the fucking spiders, I hate them. But they should have done a little bit more with the possible Hedora clip, because that could have been a whole different problem.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was a really cool thing though. Honestly,
dope as hell. Just not enough. Like they pushed the science stuff. You should have pushed that other stuff more.
Yeah.
But anyway, you could have literally had like a King of the Monsters or Final War situation here with the techno babble. But
yeah, I'm hoping with season 2, obviously there's some kind of issue where this isn't really going to be stopped. We're probably going to get Godzilla back or some form of Godzilla, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we get more of, like you were saying, the red dust helps them grow, makes their monsters grow.
It's Rita.
Yeah, the red dust is Rita. That's the moral of the story. Rita Repulsa, red dust. Boom.
She's just there.
Rita is the archetype. I mean, red clay, red dust. That's all I'm saying. There's something here.
It's a bunch of Z grenades that he's just constantly.
Yeah, that's all it is. The like clay worker dude is just like in a sweatshop somewhere. oh God!
I'm trying. How many more Rodans do you need?
Oh my goodness. I hope we get more like kaiju sized things, because clearly they were getting bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? And there's clearly multiples. So hopefully the next Anguirus we see is like closer to Godzilla size, that kind of thing. Which I'm assuming there's multiple of each one, since we had like the swarms of Rodans, the multiple Mondas, the all this kind of stuff. They kind of turned the kaiju names into a species. So we'll see. But
they even broke down naming it, right? Like what was Rodan? Radiation, something like that. Radio, something.
They broke down the first like 6 episodes. I was drifting in and out a little bit.
As soon as the techno babble began, man, I had to.
But like,
I was like,
so here's my thing. Before we get on to like the main man himself, the techno babble. I like, this is where I'm kind of conflicted, because like, and I think I don't know if it's like Stockholm syndrome or what, but like by like 7 or 8. So I had watched up to like 8, and then I had to go back to like 6 and then watch forward again, because that's really when.
I powered through the whole thing.
I started it like 2 weeks ago, and then we said we were going to watch it, so I was like, I'll finish it, and I like kind of forgot what was going on. So I found myself like when I started at 6, and I was like, okay, yeah, there's that weird timey-wimey thing going on with the whatevers and like the experiment. And then like as they kept going, I was like, I really wanted to know. Like I was reading it and like trying very hard to follow it. And like, and not because it was difficult to follow, but like I was putting effort into trying to understand this because I wanted to understand it. And like, I was trying so hard, and like I kind of get it, and like there's definitely some cool concepts there, I don't know how well it landed. That's kind of my thing.
Again, if you weren't 100% buying into the science, like us, you were okay,
Yeah.
sure,
And
yep, uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm very conflicted about it because I don't know, like, if I actually liked it and thought it was kind of cool and like trippy and like
Right,
a cool little play on time, or if I was just kind of like, it's Godzilla, so here we go. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
Forgiving it just because of the sake you had a bit of Godzilla, and that's kind of where
yeah.
I'm sticking to it. This was a shoehorn Godzilla project that they slapped the name on to sell it, but it's more of a Jet Jaguar flick featuring Godzilla.
I mean, I think we just needed more things named orthogonal diagonalizer, in my opinion.
Oh
But
yeah, no more pointless names like the
more
Umblizer
ridiculous,
Boomdizer.
absurd sci-fi names. That's what we needed.
This this rectangular dialer thingy.
The rectangular dilator messenger.
But I mean, yeah, legit. But let's since Shin Godzilla, this I've noticed this idea of
Sounds like a bingo
the,
move.
this the metamorphosis that Big G goes through
Yeah.
in all his movies is I'm appreciating it, but I don't want to see it always be a thing.
Yeah.
But this one they did pretty good with distinguishing the forms and a believable escalation of each. Like the evolution that he's undergoing due to Rita, the Red Mist, Red Dust. He changes 4 times, 3 or 4. 4.
I think there's technically 4, but I only remember 3.
So there's the first one we see. Do you think we can get pictures on the Discord?
Yeah, I can pull them up.
All right, so I'll introduce the first one. The first one we meet is called Godzilla Aqualitis. The Aqualitis, it just looks like now. The one dope thing is that these are all homages to other monsters too. Forget which one Aqualitis is. Easter egging, but
I mean, to me, I thought it was
Aqualitis.
Aquamothra, but I don't know if that was really what they were going for.
I can't hold on. I'll find it because I know there's a bunch of them that were referenced there. Yeah, I think I found it right here. The 1975 monster doesn't have the name anywhere, but it looked like a tall fin with another fin on its tail.
I found the perfect picture.
That one.
I will pull it up in a second.
Okay. But anyway, so Godzilla Aqualitis is the first form. We find it in the water when it breaks through, and you can really, really big boy.
So this is the forms. You get the fish. Right. You get the what the hell is this thing? You get the snake thing, and then you get the thick boy.
Right. So the best thing is like it's like a frog where it goes through the fish form, amphibious form, and then on the legs. Yeah. The fish has like the primitive hands, the Aqualitis form. It's the most different looking, and I dig it because you could see the hints of Godzilla, like the spines on its back. Mm-hmm. They're tiny, and they have the vague shape to it, but you could see where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the next one is.
Next one was the kind of like the weird in between. There was like the tadpole with legs looking guy.
Yeah, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah, what the hell is this thing? It's the tadpole with legs. That's what it is.
Nothing too much happens in these forms.
I mean, because the first, so you get the fish, you get a decent shot of the fish, and then like the next two are kind of just draped in like disgusting amounts of particle effects. With it is the smoke. So you don't really see them that well. Especially the like in between one between the fish and the snake thing. You don't really see them that well, and especially since it's kind of red and then like the smoke is red, you really just see like the spines in the face most of the time. It's I don't know.
I mean, it's the in between form, and then the next one up is kind of my sentimental favorite because it's so different looking yet familiar. Like you could definitely see where Godzilla is gonna come from it, but I wouldn't mind seeing like most of a movie with this form. You know what I mean? Implying that we're
the snake thing form?
Godzilla the final form. Yeah, I think the snake thing could carry a good a good story because it has enough Godzilla in it. Like what I would, make the story about Godzilla wanting to evolve. You know what I mean? Had to evolve to fight whatever X, Y, Z, and the only way it does that is to fight. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, but point is that I like that form, and it's just the attack too. It has it doesn't quite have the atomic breath yet. It has a flame. It had the flame breath in the previous form.
Yeah, the base form, the base land form, I should say, let's go with that, kind of has like the Shin Godzilla breath thing going on, where like it just spews out gas and then that ignites and then it kind of just like rips that around the city. It was kind of cool, actually. I dig that. And then after that, they use this like ring effect, which is a really cool effect, actually. And like the weird snake one just kind of like fires smoke these atomic rings at things, and then they just kind of like burst. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but still, that's how he takes out Rodon.
Yep. How do you feel about the final form, the thick boy?
Godzilla Ultima. Thick boy is always my favorite. For some reason, I like the walking shit break Godzilla. It's just something about it just intimidates me, and I'm like, yeah, that's Godzilla. But it was basically Shin 2.0. So without the without the arms.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like a lot of these designs.
No, I mean, again, it's like, not to say that it's great. It's just if you gotta appreciate it for what it is. That's what I take from it.
I like this render of Ultima Godzilla. In the show itself, though, I really didn't like Godzilla's head.
It was too wide.
It was just weird. Like the bottom jaw is very wide, and then like the head is kind of compressed. It does look very snake-like, and the way he even opens its mouth is very snake-like.
Yeah.
But can it create a human hybrid army from its tail? It cannot, and we will never actually get that because Toho decided to just cancel Shin Godzilla 2. So I still have to figure out who we need to like yell at about that, but that's tomorrow's problem.
We need to make it ourselves. That's the truth.
We'll have to make it ourselves.
Do it ourselves.
Hideaki Anno, I am available. You can hire me. Just shoot me a text. Hit me up on Twitter. We will take care of Shin Godzilla 2. We'll be fine.
Yep.
I know you're watching.
We're just gonna need.
I know you're watching.
We're gonna need a lot of money for Legos.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the fish form a lot. I really do. And then I really did not like the snake thing form. I really didn't. Yeah. When it was on screen, like again, that render looks pretty cool, but like when it's on screen, I thought it looked so dumb.
It's derpy looking, but it's also so like derpy. Because of that vapid look, you can't tell what's going on, and you're like, okay, like what is this thing gonna do?
Yeah.
Like for me, that's how I took it, and it's called a Godzilla Terrestris.
What's up, Ken? How you doing, dude? Yeah, it's I don't know. Like I said, I like the body of Ultima Godzilla a lot. I really do, because I'm a huge fan of the Heisei era. I love the thick thighs of the Gojis from the Heisei era.
Yeah.
This harkens back to that. You know, there was definitely some, like you said, some Shin vibes, especially with the snake thing one, because it had that super long tail.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think this one still has a pretty long tail, but I feel like it got a little shorter when it beefed out. I just like, I don't know, something about it just didn't sit right. Like it was kind of too cartoony looking. For it to be intimidating, but I warmed up to it a little bit by the end of the show, at least the Ultima one. I really don't like the snaggle teeth, honestly. The two snaggle teeth on the side, I really don't like those.
But isn't that an homage to the old school one?
I mean, kind of, but not really. Like the older ones didn't have them like, they're like, these two are like out like 90-degree angles perpendicular to its head. The old ones, it just kind of had fangs that would hang over its lower jaw. So it is. I just don't like the way that they homage it, if that's the case, if that's what they were going for.
Probably.
But yeah, this is definitely very like Shin vibe when it comes to the whole evolution thing, and especially the red mist and everything too. Yeah, there was some hard Shin vibes. So overall, I don't hate it. It's not my least favorite design. Like, there's definitely, like, Godzilla Earth is definitely way worse. I'm always going to compare it to the other anime series. Godzilla Earth is way worse.
Giant, massive, chunky boy.
Yeah, like, I mean, at least this one did stuff, like, kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit. It still kind of just stood around at atomic breath and everything. But, like, if I was Godzilla, that's what I would do. I would just atomic breath everything. I'm not going to run over to you. What are you talking about? Why would I run when I can laser you from across the city? Like,
actually, no. I will come over to you whilst I laser in the opposite directions.
Right? You just fly with the laser. 2-for-1 special. It's I don't know. Like the Godzilla Earth. Don't get me started on Godzilla Earth. Yeah. But like this is fine. It's unoffensive. I do like aspects of it. I just, like I said, the head is pretty much. But how does it compare to the sequel series to the 2000s movie? So the sequel series was cool. It was very cool. I watched it a little bit. I didn't get super into it at the time. This is a very different show. It's very hard to compare. It's like apples and oranges, honestly, to the Godzilla animated series and this from like the 2002 or 3, whatever that one came out.
Yeah, they both mishandle Godzilla. That's the one thing about it.
But I think the 2000s animated series did better with the homages and things, and like repurposing known creatures. Because a lot of it also, there wasn't this thick layer of like science babble on top of everything. I mean, there was, but it wasn't. It wasn't anything more than like a standard Godzilla fare. You know what I mean? So, out of the 3 Godzilla things, I would say probably the animated series, then the trilogy, the movie trilogy, because the movie trilogy is hot poo poo. So, I don't want to watch it. Part of me wants to watch it again just to solidify that I hate them.
I was gonna give this another go. Like I was gonna watch the episodes again, but as soon as I started with the techno stuff, I'm like, I can't.
How did you feel when Professor Lee died?
When did she die? When did that happen? Because I'm sure she was there for one scene.
Yep.
And then we never saw her again.
Cut, and then she's just gone, and they're like, "Oh, she died." I was more upset, honestly, that the cat died than she died. That cat got me hard.
Like, okay, I get that they tried. Maybe they didn't because they wanted to keep it within a specific rating, but they didn't even like have a shadow death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
they had the reaction shot to the death. That's all they had. There wasn't even like a little spatter under her cheek. That anime thing going on.
Nothing. I would have taken a Rodan flying through her and her animating in half. That would have been better.
Just like the silhouette, like the all black.
And then Rodan just like flies away.
Rodan strikes a pose and she explodes.
Okay, anyway, but yeah, so her now I'm not sure. Is the Mad Doctor alive or not?
Apparently,
he's alive, right? Because
that's the one at the end. Yeah. So throughout this whole thing, we find out there's a professor that was studying these singular points and predicting a catastrophe. Ashihara, is that his name?
Ashihara.
This reminds Peacemaker of MGS4, where there's a lot of talking over PowerPoints about nonsense. Yeah, there's a lot of that, honestly. It's a lot of like looking at files while people are trying to figure things out. So yes, it is very much that.
Do your best, Snake. Do your best, Snake.
Big boss.
After the end of World War II.
After the end of World War II.
I'm just gonna drink the rest of this and then just gargle into the.
Yeah. I'm gonna get some rocks outside real quick and just gargle those, and then we'll be there.
Yeah. All right, my bad. I can't.
Solidus,
Snake. So what you mean to say is, and then how is Snake's dialogue? How is all my dialogue? Mostly just me repeating the question back of what I just heard.
Because he's literally Snake from Escape from New York and L.A. That's why. And I don't know if you've ever seen those movies. We're gonna get real off track for a second.
Yeah.
Have you've seen those, right? Where like,
of course,
I don't understand what Kurt Russell's saying because he's goddamn whispering the whole time. He's like,
he's talking out of one side of his mouth.
I'm a snake, and I will come back for you. And you're like, well, I'm sorry, what? Speak up. I'm sorry, what?
Freedom comes down to a basketball game.
I will get the president, and I will come back, and I will kill you. And before the timer runs out. And you're like, what are you saying to me right now? What are you saying?
He has a knife. Okay, let's just go with that.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Sorry.
back to
My bad.
Ashihara.
Yes, Ashihara.
So he's this dude researching everything, and they're trying to use him as like they're using his notes and everything to figure out what's going on. He's apparently the one who first discovered the signal, all this other kind of crazy stuff.
He just disappeared.
He just disappears. Yeah. I mean, he's also like, they said it was like 60 or 100 years old at this point. And then he just like wanders
I didn't catch
up.
that.
Yeah, no, they said at some point this, like when he was researching, it was like 60 years ago. So he would have been about 100 at the time of this occurring.
So the AI, the Pelops.
Pelops 2? Yeah.
Yeah, Pelops 2. She goes into the Matrix and finds him in the Matrix?
Essentially, yeah. So Pelops 2 is one of the AIs that Yun developed. From what I gather with this, Pelops 2 enters the singularity because, again, it's like math and magic and science kind of all coalescing.
Singularity timeline, yeah. She's jumping through all that simultaneously.
Essentially, you know, this author, I was reading some stuff while you were talking about the author. They're very into like sci-fi with mathematic things, like you said. So, essentially, they break down time into mathematic equations and algorithms, and obviously an AI runs on mathematic algorithms. So this AI is able to go into past, present, future, whatever times, and they end up splitting. There's even a scene where like a whole bunch of these AIs start popping up, and they kind of like go crazy for a second, and then, you know, come back together and like, we need to do this to save the world. So this AI goes in back in time matrix thing.
Forward in time. Forward,
back in time. They go back to the future.
Back.
They go forward to the past, if you will.
And backwards. In a boat.
They do a little pirouette spin and then just kind of drive, and then they end up in the future past, actually.
Right.
It's the future past. And then there is the Doctor in the AI future past matrix.
Neo and the X-Men are there having tea. You got this?
Following this storyline.
Neo and Professor Charles Xavier are chilling.
Imagine if Neo walked into the architect and then Morpheus slapped him on the ass and then another architect walked through the door.
Good game, Jim.
That's what we're working with here.
And it is in the White Room now.
But you know what? They had a big horn gorilla thing stomping on the computer that they're inside, so I'm okay with it.
You know, that's probably the whole thing. It's all in your head.
It's all in my head, man. This entire show is just a fever dream. It didn't actually exist. It was a combined conscious fever dream that the entire society that has watched it has had. The entire time, it's just like a spiral on the screen. If someone else was to walk into the room.
The red dust are small mushrooms that everybody's breathing in constantly.
Rita Repulsa made my monsters grow. This is where we are now. So... I wish I was making this like analogy up. This is literally what happens in this show.
Yeah. So they go forward, backward in time in a boat sideways because the AI makes it to the Mad Doctor, who's a simulation of himself, but he's actually alive.
Himself kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's very much like you mentioned Kang the Conqueror. I think it's very much a Kang the Conqueror thing.
I'm agreeing with that because it's one version of him that survives in this Matrix style place that she finally realizes that she's been the chosen one the whole time, and then that's what makes Jet Jaguar grow.
Yeah.
And then somehow he survived everything.
Yep.
I mean, Gintama survived a point blank atomic breath explosion. So I'm agreeing with this. That's fine.
I mean, to be fair, before he ate that atomic breath explosion, Jet Jaguar booted Godzilla in the mouth.
It doesn't matter. What's 100 feet of distance gonna do to the heat and radiation?
Radiation only goes so far. Okay, you didn't know about the 100-foot rule?
It stops.
It's the 100-foot radiation rule.
It's like a danku. A danku just right there. No?
Gintama had a danku. That's what it is. Bakudo 99. That shit.
That's it. Danku. Fuck that. Radiation my ass.
The power of his nerd put up a wall. Oh my goodness.
Is the MC protection wall. That's what it was.
That's what we call the Bakudo number plot armor.
Bakudo plot armor.
Oh my goodness. But
So,
yeah, that is
he's
literally the
live
last 2 episodes of the show. That is the summation of what happened in the last 2 episodes. I wish I could make it up and make it make sense, but I can't.
So they take the red dust. It's about the red dust. The catastrophe is about to happen. They figure out the equation. Jet Jaguar henshins into its final form,
which doesn't look any different, by the way. It's literally just bigger.
It kind of it had like that warping effect, like the new form Vegeta has. Whatever that effect is that was coming off of it, that made it grow, and then it ate a shot to the face. It blew off half of its face. Yeah. Godzilla lets go one of his atomic breaths, and it literally dishes the rest at Jaguar's face.
Just takes a chunk out of Jet Jaguar's head.
That was one of the dopest parts of their fight, but apparently that was like it had to absorb the blast in order to make that happen.
I assumed it was the way. So again, I am piecing together what information we have. I assumed after it absorbed the red dust, it did whatever in its belly to that dust to change the state of it. Because like I said, there's 13 states to this archetype stuff. The red dust is one of them. So I'm assuming it changed whatever, it started whatever reaction it needed for the catalyst to be Godzilla's breath. That's how I interpreted what happened.
But and then that interacted with whatever Jet Jaguar did with itself.
Yeah. So once the energy hit Jet Jaguar's stomach, it created the explosion, and then the reaction that created the super crystals that finally stopped whatever. Right. I assumed they were essentially just the final form. Jet Jaguar turned into the final form of this oxygen bomb thing that they've been using. The oxygen octagonal diagonalizer, or whatever it's called.
Whatever that MacGuffin was.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
Which is still the coolest name. Oh my goodness.
No, it's not.
It's so cool.
The orthogonal diagonalizer.
Orthogonal diagonalizer.
Why? What does that do? Orthogonal. You come here, orthogonal
come
equation.
To me.
Pythagoras, you sit here.
Orthogonal diagonalizer Neville.
The second. Because. All right. So we have all that at the end. We're getting a season 2 somehow. Prediction for the kaiju that might appear in that one.
Mechagodzilla is obviously a given because they were building Mechagodzilla at the end. I would assume they'd kind of use some of the other ones they didn't use. I would hope that they do kind of like a. I would like King Caesar to come back if we're using people like Jet Jaguar. King Caesar should come back. Titanosaurus. Bring back like the D tier guys. I think that'd be great. I mean, I feel like Ghidorah is probably going to be a given.
He's been done already.
I know,
twice.
But like he's Godzilla's arch nemesis. So I mean, I feel like that's going to be a given. I would like to see Gigan. I think Gigan would be really cool in the style. Gigan would be a cool one. That'd be cool. So Destroyer would be pretty sick too.
You can't have Destroyer. Then you have to end the show.
I mean, Destroyer is literally the red dust. So I don't know why they didn't just make that Destroyer to begin with, but we're not going to go there.
I think that's probably what they're getting to, which is the only reason they should have another season. But that would be the end of it. You have Destroyer and you end it because that's the antithesis of Godzilla. Like, it's the whole point. But I would like to see that. I would like to see another version of Mothra, but maybe used differently.
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of be cool to see if it was like that particular Mothra isn't a byproduct of the red dust. Like, that was just something that was here, but like all the moths kind of come together and create like the real spiritual Mothra that we know, kind of thing.
But I would like to see an evil Mothra.
Batra? You want to see Batra?
Yes.
That'd be cool. Batra doesn't get enough love. I'd be down for that. That'd be cool.
We will have to see, but I mean, ultimately, it was meh. You could watch it, not watch it. It's not going to change your perspective on Godzilla. It's just going to be a thing.
For me, it was vanilla ice cream with some fun toppings on it. Like, you can try and spice it up as much as you want, but like the base product is just kind of meh, like you said. But there's some cool stuff there. There's some good stuff there. Overall, not the worst thing I've ever seen. Not the best thing I've ever seen. So it's solid. It's solid. Like, I wouldn't not watch it again. It's going to be a minute before I watch it again, but I wouldn't not watch it again.
Yeah, I'll check out the second season, but I'm not paying that much attention ever again. Ever again. I may put the dub on and just let it rock. Whatever translation.
I mean, your boy Johnny's in there apparently. I didn't listen to the dub, so
I did get the temptation to listen to it through the dub because let's be honest, the Netflix adaptations lately for at least their voice work has been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Yasuke, you saw Yasuke, right? That was good.
I did not see Yasuke.
No, you didn't see Yasuke.
No, I started it and then I was like, I need to actually watch this, so I'm gonna pause this. But I did start Record of Ragnarok, and that show is not good.
The PowerPoint show? That was great. I think I could make that too.
Yeah, that was not good.
It was. I couldn't tell. At first, I thought they were homaging 80s, 70s and 80s cartoons with the, the Speed Racer type thing.
Apparently, the manga is infinitely better. I just like
literally
the first 3 episodes were like one person takes a step, we cut to some other flashback. One person takes a step, we cut to some other flashback. I was like, can we just watch them fight? Oh my goodness.
No, apparently not. And then oh man, that bothered me so much that it was like I thought it was intentional, but it's budget. It's the fact that these poor artists are being murdered.
Yep.
To
literal
get the shit
sweatshops.
done. I feel so bad. Yeah. And then we, the fans, are sit there and we get this, and then we're mad. I know we're mad because it is not what they can do, but it's what is being done because of the situation. And until that changes, what's it going to take for that to change? You know, like other than the companies doing a 180, and we're not going to. If we start to boycott the stuff, it's counterproductive. So the only thing we can do is, keep putting the word out there for improvements and stuff like that, because holy crap, man. Record of Ragnarok could have been amazing. Should have been amazing. And then when you see, I don't know if you're up on the manga stuff, but
nope. I stopped when Zeus had his 10-minute intro song. It literally went on for 10-15 minutes. I was like, oh, all right, and I'm done.
So the fight itself between he and Adam is actually really good when you take the fight. But again, you have the moments in there where it's very choppy and very cut back, and it really damages it. It really does, and it's so sad to see it. So sad because you have another example is Chainsaw Man. The Chainsaw Man manga ended, I think, a couple months ago, but the anime just dropped that trailer, and if you've seen the trailer looks, holy crap!
Oh my goodness! Like if it's all that quality, holy shit!
And I think it's I don't know. I'm not even gonna guess. It's either not a show or a miniseries, something like that, where it's longer than usual. Gotcha. But whatever it's gonna be, it's phenomenal every frame, bro. And that's the kind of thing that. It's a good thing to see because it looks sexy, but it reminds you that means they worked even harder on that.
It's just like I feel like Record of Ragnarok is stuck in like 2008 anime. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's very similar style, very similar like animation aesthetic, very similar like budget cutting kind of things. Which like I don't know why it did, because a lot of Netflix anime has a lot of money to throw at it and looks really good. Like Baki is also a Netflix anime. Look how well that did. Look how great that looks. I mean, the first season was kind of, whatever. But they fixed it. They brought it back, and now it looks fantastic. And even Baki has some of that, like, still frame, just, focus on the shot sort of thing, because that's how the manga's drawn. But, like...
But that's periodically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel... Because apparently the manga doesn't cut away nearly as much as the anime for Record of Ragnarok does.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So... I don't know what they were doing there. I don't know if that was a directorial choice or what. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Netflix animes, they're very hit or miss. Most of them are pretty good. Some of them not.
I liked Yasuke. I did like Yasuke. I wanted to like it more.
I heard a lot of people didn't, honestly.
Yeah, because it's not great, but I took it for
it's not great.
It's not, but I took it for what it was, and I enjoyed it because it's like, okay, if it's gonna be ridiculously mecha, stupid, not historically accurate, fine.
Yeah, I heard it kind of turned into like Samurai 7, where there's just like mecha and all that kind of stuff.
It did.
That's cool. I mean, I'm down for that. I'm always down for that.
You're always down for mecha. So
Yeah, I'm always down for mecha. You throw samurai in, I'm absolutely game. So
that's one. Yeah, check out Yasuke. I think you're gonna like it. But
all right.
we have another one that I wanted to talk about for technically Toku.
Okay.
Grom.
Rom.
Detective Grom. Mm-hmm.
Detective.
Let me see if I
Grom.
can find a trailer. Yeah, I'll find a trailer and I'll put it up on the Discord. But it's definitely not what I expected at all.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up here, but tell me about Gigabash then.
So Gigabash, which we will hop into in a little bit here. Gigabash is an alpha test that I was able to get a code for, and there's only about 120 people or so.
Oh.
Yeah, there's only about 120 people, so me and Hawk both got codes, and it's really cool. It's so cool. Yeah, I love every second of it. There's so much love put into this game, and obviously being an alpha, there's some issues, like there's bugs and stuff like that. Like when we were playing matches yesterday, like I said, you get into these Gigamax forms, and essentially there's big, scarier versions of your character, beefed up moves, bigger moves, that kind of thing.
Okay.
We were playing she's almost like Biollante. Her name's Rohana. She looks almost like Biollante. And her whole thing is she grows up real big, and then she can kind of get this big like vine bat, or like throw these spikes across the ground, and she does like a big spike trail. My character glitched out and had the gigaform versions of the moves, but stayed smaller. So I picked up the bat as Rohana, and it's like 5 times her body, swinging this thing around, and I thought it was amazing. But there's goofy stuff like that. And then like we were having some issues with connections. I dropped out of a couple matches. Nothing that can't be fixed. This game's like a year away still. So but what we played for about an hour or so. Oh my goodness. It was so much fun. There's more characters coming, there's more stages coming. And like I think if they could get a couple license things, like we were talking about Override as well. Override 2, which is the one that Ultraman's been in.
Okay.
That game is cool when you have people to play with. Like the whole point of that game is the kind of gimmicky combat to it is you can kind of Megazord it, have 4 people playing at once. You each control a limb. Do it that way. When you only have like 1 or 2 people, the controls are a little wonky, a little weird, a little slippery. The fun definitely comes with people. And this being like a Power Stone party fighter kind of thing is similar, but I feel like this holds up better when you're playing by yourself.
Okay.
So I'm very excited for this game. We're gonna try and get everyone in on this one. Okay. We're gonna get the gang together for this one.
I'll play. So that's dope.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this game, and we're gonna play a little bit more in just a little bit here. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, please stick around. Playing some kaiju stuff.
Here I put up. Boom. All right, so let's try to do kind of a semi-live here with this trailer here, because I started watching this, and you know I always have a thing for plague doctors and crows. So when I saw this, I was like, huh, is that like legit? I thought it was like a comedy, but there's comedic moments, but it's like a superhero movie.
Okay.
So check it out.
Let me see.
It's called Major Grom, Plague Doctor. That's what he looks like. Yeah. That's how his character's portrayed.
Interesting. So yeah, we can definitely check that out. I'm sure we'll need something to watch because I haven't even watched what we're watching tomorrow, and I don't remember what it's called. So figure that out. But I think that's about going to do it for us for here on Tokudon and Godzilla Singular Point. I appreciate everyone hanging out, whether you're watching live or watching in the future times on any of the podcast things. We really appreciate it. You can follow me at Kaiju Carl on, if you're on Twitch, you know where to find me. But also on Twitter. This will go up on YouTube. I realized I didn't put up the one we did with Jem on YouTube yet, so I will put that up too, because I am a terrible human and multimedia manager. Future prospects, don't listen to this episode. Go away.
We're good. Don't distract you. We're just a fine mess. We're a good mess.
So
we're good.
I'll get that up too. So there'll be double the episodes on YouTube, but this will go up soon. And yeah, like I said, hang out. We're gonna be playing some Gigabash.
Yeah. Later, guys.